Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today we are covering Real Housewives of New York, Season 12, Episode 9, Hurricane Leah. Oh my gosh, this was my favorite episode of the season. This is incredible. I have watched this episode twice in full and watched parts of it more than that. Holy cow, I cannot wait to get into this with you guys. Whew, and be sure to stay tuned to the end because we're going to go into the drama that's going on Instagram after this episode aired. Ooh, it's good. Okay, so this episode starts out, we see the girls packing up. They're getting ready to go to Newport for Ramona's trip. Sonja has her intern, Matthew, packing a swimsuit, and it's so good to see Sonja and her interns again. We have Leah FaceTiming Ramona. Ramona was at her doctor's office getting her tummy toned and some procedures done. And Leah's getting ready for the trip. Then we go over to Dorinda's house in the Berkshires. And we had heard about the flood, but my God, to see it was horrible. I have not been a fan of Dorinda's at all this season. And I still think she's done some awful things. But I really felt for her seeing these pictures. It says it took 4 months to get the house dried out to even start working on it. That's awful. So then we have the girls meeting at Ramona's apartment. As soon as Tinsley walks up with her pillow, Lou says, "I love that you bring your own pillow. You're such a child." And Tinsley's like, "I have allergies." And Sonja chimes in. Sonja is such a shit stirrer in this episode. I love it. Sonja says she's a baby who needs her pillow. The party bus, and they're explaining that Dorinda's going to meet them there. She'll probably be the first one there, which she is. They start talking about humbling moments, and Leah tells us about that pita chip guy that they had messed around some, and the next day they had reservations to go eat, and he didn't text her. So Leah's explained that she had a really rough couple of days. She's explained that he has an aloof attitude toward her time. And so she flew off the handle, it sounds like, and said a real man would have called her by now. And then said that maybe he likes to suck, you know what. And then she said when she starts feeling vulnerable, she becomes a psycho bitch. She was trying to hide her psycho bitch until then he saw it, and she's not happy about it. So then Leah brings up inviting her sister Sarah, who had a little baby about 7 months ago. Ramona is like, no, it's a girls' trip. Sonja is yelling no over and over. Tinsley says she'd love to have her sister. She's amazing. Ramona continues to yell no. And Leah says, "Why are you being a hater? Why are you scared of one person coming on the trip?" Ramona says, "I'm a control freak," while pointing her pencil and ruler. Leah says, "You need to relax a little and think about it." Leah says, "So what's the consensus?" And Ramona says, "We're thinking about it." Leah tells Ramona she looks young to butter her up. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. What do you guys think about this? About inviting the sister? I don't know. I actually see both sides in this one. I don't think it was that big a deal that Leah invited her sister. They had even talked about maybe like one night, one dinner. So I don't think that's a big deal. I do understand a little bit why, it's a show we watch for these girls. So I don't know that we need the sister, but I just think it's a little crazy that it got drug out the way it did. And I think Ramona's wrong for flip-flopping, saying yes and then no and then yes. And it could have all been avoided. Plus, I love Leah, and even though she's a maniac in this episode, I love her. So they arrive at the inn, and I love to do my research here, so I looked up the inn, and for a whopping, let's say $1,800 a night, these rooms could be ours. How about that? Wow. They are really nice rooms, and I love that they're cottages on the beach, but that's pretty expensive. $2,000 a night. Whew. If anybody wants to fund me for that, I am so down. Okay, so the ladies arrive to the inn. They have their welcome drinks, which look delicious, by the way. I really want to make that. Ramona immediately orders her oysters. Tinsley is being very tentative with Dorinda, but they're friendly. Then they start grilling Leah on why she's not eating. And she's explaining how bad she feels about everything. And she's not hungry. And Leah, to the side, says to Ramona, obviously this is your trip. I didn't mean to spring this on you. And Ramona says, if she's anything like you, I'm sure I would like her. Leah says, she's so much like me. You're going to love her. Ramona says, okay, for dinner, she can come. Leah says, thank you. And that's that. I mean, Ramona says, okay, right there. There's no need to continue this. Leah's excited. She tells Dorinda about her sister. Ramona immediately says, I didn't want her to come. I can rescind. And Leah says, you invited Elise and you weren't even talking to her. Sonja, again shit-stirring, says, Ramona, the guests can't invite guests. Dorinda is telling her just to sneak the sister into her room. And I thought the same thing, just to have her come anyway. And you're going to want to stay tuned to the end of this because you'll get to see the aftermath on Instagram between the two of them. So the girls go to their rooms. Ramona and Sonja talk about it. Ramona tells Sonja, how did you get me to okay the sister? And Sonja says, I didn't say okay. Why did you say okay? Ramona says she felt pressured. Sonja is riling her up, saying, who gets a +1? They come up with a plan to try to change it up and uninvite her. So Leah is completely shit-canned at this point. Ramona, Sonja, and Lou, they get in the car and go head to the dinner. And here is one of my favorite parts of the episode. There's many favorite parts, but this is one of them. Ramona's excited because she got crowns for everybody and says, I got crowns for us because we're all princesses and we deserve the stars in the sky. Lou says, that reminds me of the lyrics to Giovanni. And Sonja says, that's enough Giovanni for tonight. So good. Sonja. So then we see Lou changing her mind about the sister, saying, earlier I was the more the merrier, but the more I thought about it, she should have asked you before. So that's not going to help things. Lou says, I hear Tinsley's screeching voice. Whew, they keep talking about that. I mean, they're not wrong, but I can't wait to see the reunion and see what comes up about that. Okay, so Ramona's doing this thing now. She's done in several episodes where she tries to create this drink, aka Bethany. And Leah, she gives Leah one, and she's so proud of herself, and Leah does not like the drink. She's trying to fix it, and Ramona's trying to stop her. And Dorinda says, Ramona has decided not only to mother Leah, who she barely knows, but monitor her in a way that Ramona doesn't monitor herself. And while I haven't agreed much with Dorinda this season, I do agree completely with this one. Leah adds more alcohol to the drink, and Ramona tells the group that she's a recovering alcoholic. And that's pretty crappy, because I don't think that's the case. And even if it is that Ramona's place to tell people? Dorinda makes a toast while Leah sits on Sonja's lap. And Sonja, once again, is starting to feel up Leah, which is something that she kind of did when they're in the bathroom together. It's very strange. Ramona starts to get mad, says Sonja is making things much worse for her. And then we see Tinsley telling Dorinda that she can feel that she's going through something tough right now, and she really wants to give her a hug. Meanwhile, we're seeing Leah screaming and kicking and wearing one shoe, and this is where Sonja is dragging her around. And Leah, she's my everything right now, says to Sonja, I don't want to go on the yacht. It's an effing shit yacht. I want to go on the big yacht. Priceless. So good. And of all times, freaking Ramona decides to tell Leah, I'd love to meet your sister at another time. She's not coming. And Leah yells, oh, hell no, bitch. Don't go there. Oh, so good. I could not believe that. Ramona's an idiot. And there's another really funny line here. I hope you caught it. Dorinda said, okay, so Dorinda and Tinsley are hugging. They're making up. They're talking about resetting everything. Dorinda says to the camera, I feel like I'm in Groundhog Day with Tinsley. I don't have the energy. I just want to watch Leah destroy the place. And I totally got Dorinda in that moment. That was really funny. I just want to sit back and watch the crazy storm happen in front of my eyes. I would have loved to have been at this dinner. So then we have Leah screaming, saying her sister's already on the way. And Lou says Ramona's timing is really bad because Leah's already going bonkers. Ramona says, I did not expect this reaction. She's out of her mind. No one is getting murdered here, getting their head chopped off. I just said she can't come. So Leah absolutely freaks out, screams, tries to rip the tent down. She picks up a chair like she might throw it. Oh, so funny. So Ramona and Leah are going back and forth. Ramona's worried that the sister's going to change the dynamic. Leah says, if my sister's not allowed, then I'm not staying here. She starts sobbing. They're hugging. She's hugging the other girls, and this is when Ramona decides she needs to go to the bathroom. Sonja says it's making her upset to see her so upset about it. Ramona comes back. It says she thought about it, and then says once again that the sister is welcome. So then we go to the next day. Dorinda calls to check on Leah and see how she's doing. Leah says she feels okay. She doesn't really remember anything. And they play around in the ocean. I just can't believe Leah is even upright at this point. It would take me days to recover from something like this. So then we have Ramona, Sonja, and Elise are talking. Ramona and Sonja, they talk about liking to lounge. They're getting ready for a shopping trip. Elise asks Leah how she's feeling, if she's hungover. Leah says no, she feels good. And Elise says something kind of shitty here. She's talking about Leah's drinking and says, do you wonder, why the guys think you're a crazy chick? And Dorinda's like, oh God, the judger's here. And it really just struck Leah the wrong way. And I totally agree. I don't understand Elise. I'm not a fan. I just don't get it. So the girls split off and get in 2 different cars. Leah says Elise should shut the F up. Dorinda says, I don't think Elise is one to be giving relationship advice. In the other car, you got Elise, Sonja, and Ramona. Elise is doing impressions of Dorinda, which was pretty funny. And then they go shopping, and this is where things get real weird because Elise is kind of hanging on Leah. Leah tells Elise, you got a little rough back there. They kind of get into it. Elise asks what message she's sending to her daughter. Leah says, me and Elise haven't had enough interactions for her to be all up in my stuff. Dorinda says, why are you in her business so much, Elise? Why all of a sudden do you think you're a great psychologist? And I agree with Dorinda, which is not something I've said very much this season. I don't know where Elise gets off talking like that. It's none of her business how Leah parents. Ramona turns her back to Leah and is talking loudly with Leah right behind her and saying, I don't like her behavior. It says, what the F is happening right now? Leah, she's a bigger person here. She actually does apologize. Ramona is explaining, she's talking about her childhood trauma and explaining that your behavior, I blacked out because it was so atrocious that I blacked out. And Lou has a great comment here. She's like, yeah, she blacked out. I'm talking about getting so drunk, she blacked out. So Leah apologizes for triggering stuff in Ramona. And meanwhile, Leah, Dorinda, Sonja, and Elise make fun of Ramona, saying she blocked it out when she actually blacked out. Lou says this is a crock of shit. Ramona hasn't been an angel. Tells Ramona, just don't remember because you drank martinis. You're making her feel terrible. Ramona says she's trying to convey that she likes her, but she doesn't like her behavior and asks Leah to curb it around her. Which, hello, we've seen seasons of Ramona drinking too much and acting crazy, and that's part of the fun of the show. I don't think any of them have a right to judge each other, and I especially think Ramona doesn't have a right to judge anybody. So then we see a flash of next episode. We have Dorinda upset. Ramona picks up some guys at the bar who look just not even kind of interested. Leah threw a ravioli, and to me it wasn't clear if it was at Sonja or Ramona or both. Lou plays Mary F. Kill. Ramona is mad at Leah about disrupting the weekend, and Dorinda is confronting Tinsley about Scott. Okay, so before we go, let's talk about what's going on social media right now between the women, because it's pretty funny. So I got this from Reality Tea, and basically they're showing where the girls really got into it on Instagram. So of course I had to go read all about it. A really funny thing that came out is Leah and Sarah, her sister, are claiming that Ramona pooped her pants while flirting with the married men. I believe it's in the next episode. Holy cow. So after this episode aired, it sounds like Leah and her sister were so not happy with Ramona, and they were slamming her online. And then Ramona decided to get Avery involved. And Avery is posting, "This is next level horrible. I'm cringing. My queen handling this all with grace." Of course, talking about Ramona. Woo! And then Leah is saying, "Oh my God, Avery, WTF? Like, sit down, girlfriend. The only reason you have this lavish, privileged lifestyle and clout that you live for is because of your mom. It's because she's on a show associated with these people you find so embarrassing. What a joke." So then Leah's sister got involved and shared a message that was sent to her saying, "Oh my gosh, please drag Avery. I know her personally, and she's just as much of a terror as her mother, except for maybe worse, because she publicly acts like she hates the show and won't be associated, then drops her mother's name all over town. No real friends." Woo. So on an interesting note, I shared this on another recap that I posted, but I'm going to try to find it and post it here too. If you're into Reddit at all, go back and look up Adderall and Compliments, the note from that podcast. Sounds like that episode was taken down, but Ramona and Avery were such terrors to that host. They had her in tears. They were awful. They were both being terribly behaved and brats, and definitely worth the deep dive on that. So check that out. So yeah, wow, lots of stuff going on. I can't wait for this to play out. I can't wait for it to keep going. I can't wait for the reunion, all of it. It's just been wonderful this season, and I already love Leah, and I know a lot of people were pissed at her on Twitter for acting so crazy this episode, but I don't know, it reaffirmed my love for her. I thought she was great. So much fun, so funny, and just wonderful. She reinvigorated this show for me. So glad to have her. So that is it. I love this episode. I'm dying to know what you guys thought. Tell me everything down in the comments. I've loved talking to each and every one of you. Love to hear your thoughts. I also recap Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Below Deck, which the new season starts up next week. I can't wait. So take a look. And I'm also on Twitter. I'm at Real Recap, so you can find me there. And thanks so much for watching, guys. It's been so much fun. I really enjoyed this episode, and I hope you did too. Thanks. Bye-bye.